how do we know if we have a chakra that is overactive, underactive, blocked, or healthy? I know it's a lot to think about when it comes to the chakras. So if you're familiar with the chakras, one of the common things that's often talked about is we might have something that's overactive versus underactive, or we might have something that is blocked or healthy. It can get a little bit confusing. So today I want to start to break it down so it's easy and simple for you to understand. Now, shout out if you want to dive deeper into understanding which particular chakra you might need help with. I have a free quiz for you where you can start to look at an in-depth quiz on knowing which chakra that you might need to focus on, which is your most dominant chakra that is coming up for you. So you can download that at the awakenstate.net/chakra quiz. I'll leave the link down below for you if you wish to get started on that. So today I want to talk if you have a chakra that is blocked versus healthy, or overactive versus underactive. Let's go. Hey guys, it is Ashley from the awakenstate.net. I love to talk on all things related to Kundalini, mind-body healing, mindset work, subconscious reprogramming, manifestation, and the chakra system. To continue on with our chakra series that we've been running with, I wanted to break it down so it's easy and simple for you to understand what is the difference between an overactive chakra versus an underactive chakra versus a healthy chakra versus a balanced chakra. I feel like when it comes to understanding the chakras, it can get a little bit confusing in that regard. How do we know if we have a healthy throat chakra versus an overactive throat chakra? When it comes to looking at the chakras, this is something that can get a little bit confusing or out of hand if you don't properly understand what is the main difference between all four of these things and so forth. Well, here's the thing. We can break this down really simply. So let's start with what is an overactive chakra. Now, an overactive chakra is an excessively open chakra. It's an excessively open energy center. So when we think of an excessively open energy center, we have basically, when you think about someone who talks over people, they have an overactive throat chakra. When you think about someone who is constantly controlling and is the total workaholic, that is an overactive solar plexus. When we have someone who wears their heart on their sleeve and tells people, things they probably shouldn't, and their heart is just wide open, that person has an overactive heart chakra. When we think about someone who is incredibly spiritually addicted and has a hard time with coping with reality, that beam me up Scotty feeling, and they have this mentality of all spirituality, I hate materialism, that person has an overactive crown chakra. So an overactive crown chakra, or an overactive chakra in general, will be connecting more so to things that are excessively open. So when we think about excessive means there's too much energy in that chakra. So when we have an excessively open chakra, we have too much energy flowing into that chakra, and we need to get rid of some of the excess energy in that chakra, if that makes sense. So a huge way to understand the chakra system is with a pendulum. And I'm just going to demonstrate really quick how you can use the pendulum in terms of understanding the chakras. So when you do a pendulum test, you do it over your chakras, and you can have a partner do it, or you can do it yourself as long as you have a clear head and just let yourself kind of breathe deeply, pranayama style, and you can check your own chakra system. Now, when it comes to using a pendulum, all you have to do is run it over your chakras. Now, to just demonstrate for you, basically when a chakra is overactive, it will be a huge circle. So it'll be really, really big. I don't know if I can get closer. Can I get closer? Yeah, there we go. So it's gonna get really big. Oh, I can't do that. We'll do it this way. It'll be a really big circle. Now, when it comes to looking at an underactive chakra will be the opposite. So an underactive chakra means that it's barely flowing. So there's barely any energy in that chakra. Now that chakra isn't necessarily blocked, there's just only a tiny bit of energy flowing in that chakra. So for example, an easy way to understand this is a very shy, timid person. Their throat chakra needs a little bit of work to stay healthy, but because they are a shy, timid person, they only have a little bit of energy flowing in that particular chakra. When you check it on a pendulum, it will be a very small, barely moving circle, and that will help indicate if it's an underactive chakra. When you look at how an underactive chakra behaves in the solar plexus, this person has a hard time taking action and they don't really show up and feel motivated. They have really hard self-esteem issues. So maybe they have a really hard time with their self-esteem in taking action. If you see this in the heart chakra, we have a person who is afraid to communicate their emotions, but they're not necessarily hurting. They just have a hard time communicating, and they have a hard time communicating their emotions. So that would be like an underactive heart chakra. Another reason that we can look at maybe an underactive root chakra, right? That person's probably a little bit more unmaterialistic, and they have kind of like this weak will towards money, towards physical reality. They might be ungrounded, but they're not like crazy ungrounded. They're just like a little bit ungrounded, and they just need like a tweak, and then they can go back to being a balanced, healthy chakra. It's funny how, like, when I talk about the chakras, there's so many different scenarios here. Someone can have barely, like, just need a little tweak, and then they'll be back to normal. Whereas someone who's had trauma or who has had real energy blocks or has, just their nervous system under attack, like that sensation will take a lot longer for somebody to heal. And I think it's important to emphasize that everyone has a different healing journey. So it's important to look at how underactive can be similar to a blocked chakra, but it's not a blocked chakra. Now, let's move on to the next one. What is a blocked chakra? When you have a blocked chakra, that chakra has no energy flow in that particular energy center. So this particular chakra is literally blocked energy flow in that particular chakra. So this can manifest such as the person who is grieving in their heart chakra, and their heart chakra is blocked. This could manifest as someone who is like an atheist when it comes to their spirituality. They don't believe in God. They have no beliefs at all, and they don't believe in a spiritual power either. They just are completely blocked in terms of their spiritual connection. In the same regard, we might have somebody who has a solar plexus block. They are feeling powerless over their reality, and they have a hard time taking action. And most importantly, they live a lot in their victim mindset, and they have a lot of excuses when it comes to showing up and doing things. Maybe they're a bit whiny and so forth. Now, when it comes to looking at a blockage in the sacral chakra, they might have a really hard time with understanding their emotions and suppressing their emotions. And we all know how passionate I am about talking about when you suppress your emotions, it's terrible for your nervous system. Well, that's exactly just it. And so when we really look at how energy blocks happen in the body, it's usually due to emotional wounds, emotional trauma, or physical trauma. And inevitably, it's also due to our conditioning. So sometimes we can experience blockages due to our personal conditioning. It doesn't always mean that it is a big thing that happened to us. Even a breakup, for example, can cause a blockage in the heart chakra. And it's important to look at that in terms of, it's not like if you have a blockage in your chakra, it doesn't mean that you're like, you're not like severely ill or anything. It's more so this is an energetic block that you can learn to shift and change. So an energy block versus an imbalance is different because this is something that probably happened and it built up over time, and now it's blocked. So the hugest differentiation between something that's imbalanced, whereas we have overactive, underactive, versus something that's blocked, is usually a blocked energetic chakra happened over a period of time, of years, of many years, possibly even, years into your adulthood, it's been blocked. Whereas if you were to just look at something that's overactive, that just means you need to tweak it back, and then you are in realignment. Whereas something that's blocked, it's something that we need to work on opening and learning how to shift all that energy and release that energy so we get it flowing again. That's a totally different conversation than just something that's overactive or underactive. Now, when we also look at energy blocks, we also have to realize that when we use a pendulum, it will not move. So when you have a pendulum test, either done by a partner or yourself, and you clear your head, when you have a blocked chakra, the pendulum will not move. It will not move at all. And this will indicate that there's a block. So one of the hugest things to look at when it comes to doing a pendulum test is if you have a really big open circle, then that means that you have an overactive chakra. If you have barely anything happening, that's usually underactive chakra. And then when a block happens, you have no movement. There is nothing happening in that chakra at all. So it has no energetic flow to contribute. So it's just blocked. It's stagnant energy is what it is. So when it comes to a healthy chakra, how does this display itself? It displays itself as a healthy circular motion of energy, because when we look at how a healthy chakra behaves, we have an emotionally free chakra. That chakra is emotionally free. It has free-flowing energy accompanying it. And that free-flowing energy is due to that emotional component that's happening behind the scenes. So, for example, a very healthy solar plexus chakra, that person has natural confidence. A healthy heart chakra, that person is very loving and compassionate to herself and to other people, and so forth. When you have a healthy, let's say a healthy root chakra, you might have an abundance mindset and you have a lot of financial security and so forth. So you can start to see how there's a different framework here between what is the difference between something that is healthy versus blocked versus imbalanced, because there is a different conversation happening. And I think it's important to see that while we can have energy blocks, the more important conversation is to not make it such a huge deal in our head that we mistake it as something that's overactive or underactive, and we can quickly heal it. Whereas someone who's experienced something such as an emotional trauma, that might take a lot more time to heal. Whereas somebody who's just has a little bit of, they need to work on their throat chakra a little, and they have an illness come up, that might be like a week fix. It depends on the situation and it depends on the circumstance. So I think it's important to differentiate that. And most importantly, when it comes to the chakra system, understanding your chakras, one of the hugest things to help you heal a chakra is knowing if you have an overactive and underactive, a blocked chakra, because that will help you a lot with pinpointing where is their work needed. What is the chakra that I actually need to focus on the most? And that's why I created the Chakra Quiz. So if you're interested in learning more about the Chakra Quiz, I'll leave a link down below for you for that. And if you want to dive even further into the chakra system, I highly recommend that you get your hands on my Chakra Starter Toolkit, which is giving you a crash course on the chakra system featuring my Chakra Detox Framework featured from the Ultimate Chakra Academy. So you can learn all about that at theawakenstate.net/chakra, and I will leave that link also down below for you. And of course, I'd love to know, what are your thoughts when it comes to understanding the chakras? Did this shed a ton of light for you? Because I know sometimes it's a little bit controversial to be like, are energy blocks real? How does this work? And so forth. And I think, at the end of the day, it's really about do what resonates and get rid of the rest. So if this deeply resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts when it comes to understanding energy and understanding if you have an energy block. And most importantly, if you want to create your own pendulum, it's really, really simple. All you have to do is get a string and a washer and tie that weighted object to the string, and then you can create your own pendulum. It's not that hard. And so that's basically it. So when it comes to looking at the chakras, do you feel like you might have a healthy chakra system, or is there work to do? So if you are interested in learning more, definitely head to that chakra quiz, and I'll see you guys next time.